Hey friends, it's Miss Stacy, and this lesson is from the First Look Orange Bible Curriculum for March 2020. And I just want to share a little bit of the lesson with you today because I'm sad that I don't get to see your faces and share it with you in person. And I think there are some fun things about this lesson that you can share with your family at home. I am dressed in my construction worker outfit today. I have my screwdrivers, I have a tape measure and a toolbox. I've got my hard hat and my safety glasses, which are all important if you want to be a construction worker. And I'm ready to fix some things. Sometimes, I know you guys like to dress up at home. Sometimes we dress up in Bible class. Do you think that I would be a very good construction worker if I put a dinosaur head on? Let's see. Well, there's a crown attached to it. What if I put on a dinosaur hat and said, "Roar"? I wouldn't be a very good construction worker, would I? But I could take off my glasses. I could be a dinosaur. I could be a princess. I could be an engineer driving a train. There's all sorts of ways that I can dress up and pretend. We love to dress up and pretend, don't we? I'm not going to pretend that this will fit me. I'm sure you do this at home every day. And when we dress up and pretend to be something, we are imitating or following or being like someone else. So when I put on the engineer, the person who drives the train costume, I'm pretending to be a person who drives the train, and I might act like them, and I might say, "Choo-choo, all aboard," and I might take your ticket, and I might help you find a seat on the train. If I put on the princess crown, I might put on some of my mom's jewelry or my high heel shoes or a fancy dress and dance around the house and pretend like I'm a princess. Today, in our story, we are going to continue talking about what it means to follow our leader, Jesus. And Jesus is the leader that all of us want to follow. In our stories this month so far, we've started learning about some of Jesus' special friends. Peter and Andrew and James and John were each brothers. Peter and Andrew were brothers, and James and John were brothers, and they were all fishermen. They caught fish for a living. I brought my fishing pole here today. Whoops, I can't get it out. And when Jesus came and found them fishing, he said, "Come and follow me." And they left their nets and their boats and their jobs, and they followed Jesus. That was the right thing for them to do. And there was another man named Matthew, and he was a tax collector. And you guys remember we said, there wasn't a way for people to pay on their telephone or with a credit card, and so the king would send a person around to the houses to pick up the money for him so that the people paid their money. And tax collectors were nobody's friend because they took too much money sometimes. But when Jesus saw Matthew and he said, "Come on and follow me," Matthew left his job and his tax collecting basket, and he followed Jesus. Now, that's 5 friends we've talked about. Peter, Andrew, James, John, and Matthew. So there's 12 of these special friends of Jesus all together that we can read about in the Bible. And some of their other names are kind of funny. You may not have heard them before. There's Philip, Thomas, Bartholomew. There's another guy named James, Simon, Thaddeus, and Judas. Now, Judas he had a special job. He kept the wallet for the group. So he held on to the money that belonged to the group. And these 12 friends of Jesus, so 13 of them in all, they got to do some really special things and follow Jesus everywhere. They got to see them following Jesus, and they're watching Jesus love people and take care of people. They're watching him teach people, and they're seeing how Jesus takes care of the people around him. They got to have very special lessons and meals with Jesus where he just took time to teach them about God and about how to obey God and follow his rules. And they got to know Jesus really, really close, like his family. Oops. And then they got to see Jesus. Sorry, I'm making a lot of noise here with my microphone. They got to watch Jesus heal people who were sick or were hurting and comfort people who were sad. And they're always following Jesus. And guys, even though we don't get to be one of these 12 special apostle friends of Jesus, we still have the same job today, that we get to follow Jesus. And so we can look and see in stories in our Bible about how Jesus loved people and how he took care of them and how he pointed them to God and taught them to pray and to trust God. And we can do all of those things, and we can be just like Jesus. And our Bible verse this month reminds us that that's the most important thing. It says, and Jesus said, "Come follow me." It's in Matthew 4, verse 19. So this week, sometime with your family, when you're remembering about following Jesus, maybe you can dress up together and pretend to be someone else and remember about how important it is for us to be like Jesus. Parents, I am going to send an email with some resources that are also from Orange that have some little activities that you can do at various times with your children. And they'll be labeled babies, toddlers, and preschool. There's some super great ideas here, just conversation starters and simple activities that take no material and no time, just to help reinforce some of these concepts that we're teaching this month. It's all about I can follow Jesus. Hope you guys have a great week. Thanks.